Happy Friday, Fire Fam. Welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Of course, this is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze because we understand fundamentally and deep down in the innards that these systems that are oppressing us, be it misogynoir, be it homophobia, be it racism, be it fucking white supremacy. That's the biggie, right? Well, I guess they all biggies, ain't they? But white supremacy, that's a doozy. If we can get rid of white supremacy, we be really doing something. And we got to get rid of these systems, gang, because we don't have to live this way. We can live in a more equitable, just sort of environment. And if you're looking outside today, it is not looking very just nor habitable or hospitable out here. And we got a lot of things to get into. I want to welcome everybody to the program. So a couple of quick notes that you guys need to be aware of. Starting next week, the new official start time for Burn It Down with Kim Brown will be 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays and Fridays, everybody. So please make a note of it. I know we are a little bit all over the place the past couple weeks, and that's okay. But seriously, starting next week, our new start time is going to be 7 p.m. So I'm hoping that will allot some of our East Coast folks a little bit extra time to get home, get in the house, take your shoes off, roll your J, get your little munchies together, so you can come out and kick it with the cool kids over here on Burn It Down with Kim Brown and the rest of the Fire Fam. So make a note of it. What's that? So at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, and that will be 4 p.m. West Coast time. So watch us before you leave for work. Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, just put us on. Your last hour of your workday, we will take you on out for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. Shout out to our good sis, Black Magic. Black Magic already ran us her tithes for the month. And she cash apped us at $BIDWKB. And if you go to the chat right now, look at our pinned chat in the chat. If you're trying to support the channel, that's where you're going to find all of our links. If you want to become a patron at patreon.com/BIDWKB, you can do that too. Or if you want to Venmo or PayPal or anything to support the channel, guys, because don't forget, we are Black woman independent led media out here. So the way that we survive is through the generous support of our viewers and our patrons like you all. And I love y'all so much. And I see we got a lot of people in here. Hold on. Everybody's trickling on in. Come on in, gang. You know we are still social distancing. We are still social distancing. Please keep your mask above your nose. Above your nose. Yes. Niggas wearing that shit under their chin and shit still. No. Put your mask on properly, goddammit. Shout out to Dawn. Afraid not. I see shades in here. Of course, Courtney, the SLP, is in the building. We got Valley Girls. That's up, Valley Girls. I see Anna. Shades, my dearest Elena. Who's Young Green Card? Come through, Young Green Card. I like that name. Young Green Card. Come on in. Speaking of Young Green Card, just off the top, just randomly, because it's popped into my head. So this week, maybe you guys have seen this on the news, where Texas Governor Greg Abbott was sending people who came across the southern border, putting them on buses and sending them to D.C. because Greg Abbott's like, yeah, I'm going to show them. I'm going to send all these illegals up to D.C. and that's going to show them. Nigga, please, do you understand that there was masses of people lined up to welcome these immigrants off of these buses here in D.C.? Listen, if you undocumented, come on up the East Coast. Come on up to the DMV. We got a place for you, honey. And we got plenty of Spanish people, Spanish-speaking youngins around here. And if you're not even Spanish-speaking, if you speak, Creole or what else do Bama speak? Francais, I don't know. DMV is very, very hospitable to undocumented people and to new immigrants. So if Texas is a little too harsh for you, if Greg Abbott is willing to pay for your bus ticket to come on up to DC, come on up to DC, baby. We got room for you up here. I don't know what the fuck they doing in Texas, but anyway. And Anna Hart says Seattle will welcome you as well. So across the nation and across the globe, not all of America is hostile to immigrants, okay? There's some spots, some enclaves, if you will, where immigrants are very welcome. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Gang, we've got an interesting show for y'all today. So April, as you guys know, is usually Earth Month, Environmental Month. And Earth is in bad shape. It's in bad shape. And an international science environmental agency. I know there's an acronym for it. Is it the IPPC or the IPCC or some subdivision of the United Nations or somebody important, scientists who have been studying, obviously, the dramatic climate changes that we are experiencing. These scientists are literally pulling their hair out. And there was about maybe 5 or 6 days ago, there was a big global climate action where scientists, I'm talking white men's with gray hair, glasses, and white coats, went out there and stood nose to nose with the police in order to bring attention to how dire of a situation the earth is in right now. And the reason that they wanted to do this has to do with if all of the nations, the main polluting nations, and we know who they are, the U.S., the U.S., the U.S., the U.S., and the U.S. Now, I know there's other niggas out here fucking up shit too, but America is leading the charge, right? And we are by far the most polluting nation on the planet, right? If nations like the United States were to make serious, drastic changes to the way that we operate and go about our daily lives, mainly capitalism though, right? Individuals, there are small things that we could do individually, but mainly this is a corporate and military driven climate catastrophe that we are experiencing right now. And if changes were made, we could actually curb how fucked up it's going to be. It's going to be fucked up. Now, is it going to be real fucked up or real fucked up is the question. So I think we can keep it to real fucked up, but if we don't take actions, it's going to be real fucked up. And I want to highlight the actions of the scientists, y'all. If the scientists out here willing to get locked up on behalf of the environment and on behalf of bringing attention to the fact that we have to make massive changes right away, I think that's something that we should pay attention to. Ooh, somebody read us a box. Wait a minute. Somebody read us a box. And it is Infinite Content. Thank you, Infinite Content. As always, Soil Brother number 215. Soil Brother, yes. Infinite Content says, speaking of green cards, the Biden administration approved temporary protected status for refugees from Cameroon this week. I saw you tag me on that, Infinite Content. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't realize. Well, I mean, I'm being flipped now. I was going to say I didn't realize that the United States recognized African immigrants as needing temporary protective status, but that sounds like a positive thing. My guess is that there's some other, I won't necessarily say nefarious, but there's a catch to it somehow, some way. Perhaps we can get into that next week, either here or on Black Power Media. Somebody can illuminate us with the significance of granting Cameroonians. And it's Cameroonians who were left in Ukraine? Infinite Content. Do I have that right? Is it specific to? Is it Cameroon? Anyway, we'll figure it out. But thank you so much for sharing that information with me. Well, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Hold on. Who else do we have here? We have Nat. Oh, we got Craig. Craig Bardo's in here. What's up, Craig? AR's in here. Yeah, okay. I like the fact that y'all are in here. It was a little light. It was a little light crowd on Tuesday. I'm not going to even hold y'all, but I think it's because, we had a different start time and maybe not everybody got the word. So I'm glad to see our regulars and our frequenters. Let's say frequenters, because we have some regulars and then we have some families who will frequent through here on occasion. And we appreciate y'all percolating through when you are able to. So this week, the United States saw yet another mass shooting. Yeah. Whew. Do you guys ever stop and think about how numb you are as an individual and we collectively as a nation are to mass shootings? Like it's really rather stunning. And it's probably a case study in mass psychosis or mass disassociation or something. There is something, a collective mass mental affliction happening here with this country that we just roll with these mass shootings. Like, oh, there was another one. Well, whew, good thing it wasn't me this time, right? That's kind of how it goes with the mass shootings. But obviously causing quite a fright in New York City, with 62-year-old Frank James being arrested in connection with the shooting on, was it the N train through Brooklyn's 36th Street station in the Sunset Park section of the borough. And shout out to my man, Rich L. Dios. So anyway, hold on. Where do I want to start first? So let's keep talking about Frank. The way that the police went about trying to catch Frank was laughable. It was one of the sisters in the BPM chat said it's Monty Python time in New York City. Shout out to my brother Julius on my IG. Julius said it's Ringling Brothers out here. I mean, it was a fucking clown show. Clown show. And the ways that NYPD was able to obtain Frank, how they got Frank into custody is because Frank called and told on himself, okay? And Frank clearly was not a criminal mastermind out here, nor was Frank a good shot, to which we are grateful, right? And let me establish this as a baseline for my take on this. Fuck Frank James. I don't support Frank James. I don't support anything Frank James did. His actions were cowardly. Had he turned his gun on the institutions of power, perhaps I would think different. But the fact that he wanted to attack regular working folks headed to work on the train during rush hour, he's a coward. He's soft as scrotum skin. Y'all know my position on the toughness of scrotum skin. It's not tough at all. And that's Frank James, scrotum skin, walking around with a pistol. So let's establish that baseline. It is baseline, fuck that guy, okay? But dog, his motivation is going to be pretty interesting. But what is being speculated in the press is that Frank is a BIE, Black Identity Extremist. And I've seen this reported about him from both the left and the right. Left and the right. Was it Lee Fang from The Intercept who said that Frank James was a Black Identity Extremist, to which Dr. Jared Ball, I believe, called that, and I quote, powerfully absurd, which I thought was a great characterization of it. Powerfully absurd. Yes, powerfully absurd. And then I saw the likes of Andy No putting that information out there. And our boy, Rich L. Deals, Rich grabbed a bunch of Frank James's videos before they were snatched down off YouTube, to which I have only been able to watch one, and I don't have it ready here because the first video I clicked on, Rich, that shit was a fucking hour. and the first 40 minutes was that nigga just doing a bunch of old man bitching about kids running in the street. But where the part got somewhat interesting was in this particular video that I saw of Frank James from his own YouTube channel. He was blathering on with contempt for Cory Booker and Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? And I'm like, well, hold up, let's hear Frank out for a second. But his main position was, and it seemed that he had specific animus towards the black bourgeoisie, but in this case, Cory Booker and Ketanji Brown Jackson, basically saying that y'all are slaves, like y'all are not meant to be accepted into this system. And the fact that there has to be equity legislated, or white people have to determine that you are equal to them, is something that he had a problem with, which I guess on its surface, I mean, I don't feel too kindly towards Cory Booker nor the black bourgeoisie as a whole either. But I didn't hear him saying anything negative about white people specifically. He didn't say, he was critiquing America and the issues that he had specifically with America. But from the video portion that I saw, I did not see him say white devils. we gotta get all the white devils. I didn't hear anything like that. But what I think, though, I do think that Frank perhaps had a touch of mental illness, though I'm not sure if he's been diagnosed. But I do believe at his arraignment, his defense attorney did ask for a psychiatric exam, which I think was fair. But what to me just revealed a lot of things. It revealed the ease in which mass casualty crime can be committed, which obviously we already know since there are mass shootings here all the time. But it also reinforced the fact that the police are completely inept and incapable and not very likely to prevent crime, to stop violent crime, to respond quickly to violent crime. And given the amount of resources that the NYPD use specifically, over $10 billion worth of equipment, worth of manpower, worth of overtime, worth of pensions, worth of money allotted for settlements in wrongful death or excessive force cases, and all them billions of dollars, the only way they were able to catch Frank James was because Frank called and told on himself. He called and told on himself. And I'm sorry, that does not, to me, qualify as high-level policing, right? That's not top-notch detective. That's not Lieutenant Joe Kenda from Homicide Hunter on Discovery. Like, this ain't top-notch policing out here when the alleged perpetrator calls and tells you his location, and then it's left up to regular citizens to pick Frank up, so to speak. Really quick, I want us to look at the man widely credited for dropping that dime on Frank James that finally got him pinched. Okay, we're gonna look at A2 today. So this particular clip has gone viral on Twitter. I believe it has over 1 million views, and it was posted by Samantha Zirkin, and it's Zach. It's Zach, everybody. Zach, you know Zach. Zach, the friendly, affable, little fluffy Middle Eastern guy. I guess he's Middle Eastern. Maybe he's Turkish. I'm not really sure of Zach's nationality. He had given me, Persian, Turkish, somewhere in there. Maybe y'all know what Zach's nationality is. But either way, Zach is a New Yorker. We know how New York do. Everybody's a fucking New Yorker once you move to New York. And Samantha happened to catch Zach in the mere minutes after Frank James was apprehended, and Zach's exuberance was contagious. Let's take a look at this clip of Zach.
Hi, how are you? What is your name?
I'm good. My name is Zach. I was working inside the store, and I was doing security cameras inside, and I see the guy, he walking from the screen. I see him from the cameras. So I thought, oh shit, this guy. Let me call the police. And I call him, and we catch him.
Zach, you are a hero. Thank you so much.
No problem. We try to make the people safe always, because the people is nice, the life is nice,
Thank you, Zach.
The life is nice, Yeah, Zach. All right, Zach. Zach, eagle eye, on the job. Zach, a retail worker, clearly paying way more attention than the NYPD. Thank you so much, Zach, for your service. But they were offering a $50,000 reward in connection to information leading to the arrest and capture of Frank James. And I know, seeing that video and seeing all the coverage about Zach specifically, you would think Zach obviously would be the recipient of that $50,000. And gang, in true American form, yes. Do you think Zach's gonna get the money? I don't think Zach's gonna get the money. It's gonna be A3 Tunde. There is some doubt as to whether or not Zach will get the money, although Zach clearly seems to be the person deserving of the money. But wait till you guys actually find out who's going to get the reward for capturing or the information leading to the arrest of the New York City subway shooter. Here's a hint, it's not Zach. Check out this clip from Inside Edition. Look at this.
Who will get the reward?
That's him.
Several sharp-eyed citizen sleuths saw the hulking suspect wandering around Manhattan's East Village and alerted the police. But who saw him first? Was it this guy named Zach?
I thought the police, this is the guy, he did that problem in Brooklyn. This guy, catch him, guy, catch him. And he catch him. Thank God we catch him. Thank you very much.
Zach's joy is going viral today. Talk show host Trevor Noah is rooting for him.
Everyone should be cheering his name. Zach, 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 Zach.
Or was it this guy?
When I saw his face, I immediately knew that was him.
Portrait painter Lee Vasu was having lunch with his family when he saw Frank James.
I told my wife, I was like, and quietly, because he was right there. It's not like, hey, let's call 911.
Or could it be this guy, Francisco Puebla, who owns a hardware store in the neighborhood?
He was walking this way, and I saw him, and I said, okay, this is the guy.
Well, according to police, the $50,000 reward belongs to this guy, a 17-year-old photography student named Jack Griffin.
I saw Frank James sitting down at that bench over there.
Jack tells CNN he was on a field trip with his photography class when he spotted New York's most wanted man.
I was just looking for things to shoot on the street, graffiti, anything. And then I suddenly saw him and I was like, that's the guy. That's what the police report said that he would look like. So I got out my camera and I quickly took a photo of the street. And that's when he noticed that he was being photographed and he started walking away.
And this is the bench where Jack saw the suspect sitting. Cops say it was the high school student's tip, posted on Twitter at 10:29 a.m. that focused their search here in the East Village.
Cops say while all these sightings were happening, Frank James called the cops on himself.
Yesterday, Mr. James saw his photograph on the news. He called Crime Stoppers to help. He told them where he was.
And we're learning more about his criminal history. He has 15 prior arrests going back to the 90s for a range of offenses, including burglary, larceny, and disorderly conduct.
There's a lot in there, gang, and I'm looking at the chat and I see that you guys, we right here, we have the same sentiments. Ringling Brothers, my guys and gals and non-binaries, clown show. You try to tell me Zach spotted this youngin'? Definitely spotted him. Zach definitely spotted him. And yet somehow Jack on his field trip in his photography class, Jack's gonna get that 50K. Very on brand for the whole entire situation. But to the point that the video left on, that Frank James's previous criminal history involved a dozen or so arrests for burglary, larceny, and disorderly conduct. And you know what, guys? None of those three crimes to me are violent, right? I didn't hear anything pertaining to gun possession, gun violence, robbery. Burglary is just, that's B&E. That's breaking in, just kicking in somebody's door while they not home, right? Or breaking in their window while they not there. Like, that's, to me, not necessarily violent. So, I don't know. I am dubious about Frank's true intentions. I don't know if Frank was a plant. I don't know if they sent Frank out there on some false flag mission to try to gin up support for the New York City Police Department, because the NYPD ain't looking good out here. They're not. I'm all the way down in DC, and I can tell you NYPD does not look good out here. They have a huge budget. And from what I can gather, from what people who live in New York City say all the time, is that all the police do is fuck with people. They try to get people out of the park after dark. They trying to catch turnstile jumpers. They trying to clear homeless encampments. They trying to stop and frisk people, fucking with people for weed still, and weed is legal and or decriminalized in New York City. Like, the police don't do anything to really make communities safer. And I think this week in New York was a very, very clear example of that, because we had an incident that could have been like God fucking awful. Like, we ought to be thanking the Lord Jesus on this here Good Friday that Frank James was a terrible fucking shot. Slim, I could fire 30 shots and somebody will be deceased. I assure you. And that's another strange thing to me. Like, Slim, how the fuck you fire 30 shots in a subway car? You don't kill nobody? And again, I'm not wishing for people to be dead. It's just an observation. Oh, by the way, as this New York City mass shooting on the subway comes within a week's time of the Biden administration announcing new gun laws, specifically targeting gun laws, did you guys know that Frank James, the gun that he used in this mass shooting, was a legal firearm that he purchased, that was registered to him? So, enacting new gun laws, or stringent gun laws, tighter gun laws, whatever you want to fucking call it, would not have stopped this mass shooting. It would not have stopped Kyle Rittenhouse from murdering people in Kenosha. It would not have stopped that little fucker. Who was the fucker who shot up the Mother Emanuel Church? I can't remember his name. But his firearm also was legally purchased, even though there was some some red flag that they were supposed to catch in connection to, I can't remember his name, but you guys know his name. But the guy who, Dylan Roof, thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you for that, Tunde. Yes, Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof also shot up Mother Emanuel Church with a legal firearm. So a lot of these mass shootings, which garner up so much public hysteria and usually equate in either stricter laws being put on the books for guns or the further expansion of the law enforcement apparatus through funding or hiring or training or whatever the fuck. None of that equals safety. And this is where the shit has to come to a fucking stop, gang. And New York, please don't reelect Eric Adams. I know he just got in there and y'all gonna be stuck with him for at least that first term. But geez Louise, you cannot have, you can't have him. You can't have one of them as your mayor. It's bad. It's real bad. And Eric Adams' goofy ass laid up in there with COVID. That's a whole nother story. But let me show you what NYPD was busy doing this week. Tunde, if you could cue up A1 for me, please. This is what the New York City police do, what we're about to see. So this is a clip taken by Joshua Clennon, and it's going to show some folks minding their fucking business at Marcus Garvey Park, which, according to the tweet, is a community space in Harlem known for its workout culture, and it serves as a safe space for the community, especially the youth of Harlem. So with that premise, let's take a look at really what the New York City Police Department spend the majority of their time and our resources doing in the community.
The cops are taking away all our workout equipment from Marcus Garvey Park in East Harlem. This is a safe haven for kids to come work out, and to put the guns down, let's make this go viral. Share this and tag the mayor of New York City.
This is public. You don't do nothing. We're taking, yo, bro. Y'all ain't give us no time to take nothing, bro. You know what? Nah, get them on camera, because you know what? They pieces of shit. And that's why everybody tells you, suck my dick. You gonna suck my dick and take it personally, you pussy ass nigga. You pussy, nigga. All right. And without that uniform, you wouldn't be doing shit. You wouldn't be talking like that. You wouldn't be talking like that. Take the uniform off. Take the uniform off and come work out with me. Come do a little workout with me, nigga. Nah, I'm taking it.
Yo, but you not giving him no time to take it, though.
Gave him a week. Make a move. I'm moving it. I'm taking it out. I'm taking it out. We need space, please. I don't want them on my back. I don't want them on my back. I'm moving it. You don't even know what the fuck is going on. I don't know how to do it quick. I got physical therapy here. And you fucking with my shit. Everybody don't fucking got insurance. Everybody don't got fucking
money to pay for no gym membership.
It's a public fucking park. It's public. It's for the fucking public. And we need time to move our shit. You better give us the fucking time, or I'm fucking niggas up. Real quick. Chill out, man. I ain't scared of man. I got no problem. I'll knock you the fuck out and get out today. And that's a promise. That's not a threat. That's a promise. Now, you want to come with the energy. You want to come with the energy. Come with the energy.
That's disturbing, gang. And I see my dear Ursula in the comments asking, what law were they breaking? Maybe they were bothering white people, Ursula, with their presence. I don't know. By existing, by being brown in public and congregated amongst other brown folks, having the audacity to mind your business. I mean, this is the kind of shit that people routinely experience. I mean, this is uniform truly across the country, worse in some places than others. But people look at New York really as a bastion of the melting pot. Yeah, like New York is really where everybody truly mixes. But you see brown fucking police harassing brown fucking people, minding their business, working out in the park in a place that is known for people to go and work out at. And that is what the police's job is to do. It has nothing to do with crime. It has everything to keep poor people stressed, keep them moving around, keep them in the system in some way, even if it's petty shit like citations or even misdemeanor charges. I mean, those kind of things add up very quickly. You'd be surprised at how quickly a ticket can spiral out of control if you lack the funds to pay for that ticket on its face at the time that it's due. And I fear truly. Somebody in the comments also said this is Obama's New York, which also on brand, right? This is Obama's and Eric Adams's New York. And if you a New Yorker and a black of the brown and black variety especially, hey man, it's about to be a rough few years. Cause I'm very sorry to tell y'all, cause you know, they just gonna keep doing all the same shit that they were doing. Giuliani might as well still be president. It might as well still, president. Giuliani might as well still be mayor. It might as well be Giuliani as mayor and Bill Bratton still running the NYPD. I don't see how the shit has changed. Has the shit changed? Did the shit change under the last youngin' with the black wife? I already forgot his name that fast. Bill. What was his last name? Y'all know I smoke away there. Blasio. Thank you, Tunde. See, Tunde is here helping out. Yeah, it was de Blasio. Yeah, I knew it was Bill though. I knew it was Bill, and he turned out to be a sucker also. So, NY, guard your grill, protect your neck. What's all the other New Yorkisms? The other New Yorkism phrases that get your shit right. I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's gonna be a problem. But we will be keeping the eyes seriously. As we do here on this program, we watch police really across this country because number one, they all act the same. They are there for the same interests, obviously, to protect capital, to protect the interests of the elite, and to make sure that the poor and working class remain downtrodden, remain with high blood pressure and hypertension and anxiety when encountering the police, because again, we never know how a police encounter is going to go. And I salute those young people in the park for telling them cops to suck their dick, to tell them to get the fuck out their face, because you got to talk to these police that way sometimes. I swear to God, because they think that they are untouchable. And I'm very glad at the same time that the cops at least appeared to be using some restraint, because we know how sometimes these pigs can get when you start talking sideways to them. But the problem is they need to be talked sideways to some of the time. All of the time. I'm sorry, pardon me. They need to be talked sideways to as is necessary. Let me put it that way. Because even when I've had encounters with the police, and trust me, there have been many, many encounters with the police, usually I give the police the same energy they give me, right? So if you're coming at me with some bullshit, you will get bullshit in return. If you're coming at me, approaching me, hey ma'am, I just wanted to ask you okay, sure, whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, you doing your job. I don't have to be hostile to you just off the basis of you being police. It's probably not in my well-being interest to be openly hostile, but I will be openly hostile if they come to me with some bullshit. Shout out to our sister Laura Estrada. Thank you so much for your super chat, love. And Laura says, happy Friday, my fiery and fabulous Kim Brown. Thank you so much for that, Laura. Much respect and admiration for my Generation X ally friend. Yes, lighting up one for all here. Inhale. Oh, you said, I'm sorry. Inhale joy. Exhale joy. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm already thinking about the joint that I have wrote up. Thank you so much for your kind words, Laura. Guys, by the way, did you notice my gear? You see what I'm rocking here? What's that say? What's that say? What's that say? This is a Burn It Down with Kim Brown hoodie. This is a hoodie, and I think this is an extra large. It's very roomy. It's super comfy. I love the yellow, and I love the way the logo looks against the yellow. So just a reminder that we do have our merch offerings available. If you go to the link, I suppose at the top of the chat, it should take you to our merch stuff as well. Or if you go to the About section of the channel, our merch link is in there as well. So this is awesome. I really love this. And it's about to turn cold again on the East Coast starting this weekend. Happy Easter Sunday, everybody. You're gonna have to pull out your puffy coat if you're going to church, especially if you're going to that 8 o'clock service, baby. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. So you could dress up this Burn It Down with KB merch hoodie for church, depending on your church. If you white and you go to Catholic church, I know they don't care what you wear in Catholic church, which I think is a very liberated stance, by the way, on how people should be dressed for religious services. Jesus said, come as you are. And the white folks said, yes. And the black folks said, put on put on them stockings. Black people said, put on them stockings. put your hard bottoms on and be as uncomfortable as you possibly can be for 3 straight hours in church. And yes, that is why I will not be at church, but shout out to everybody who will be celebrating the Easter holiday. And of course, it is Passover tonight. So shout out to our Jewish friends, our Jewish brethren and sisterin, getting ready for that good Seder. Save me some matzo ball soup. I do fuck with the matzo ball soup. So there is that. There is that. Let's see, where are we at in here? Really quick, also, Tunde, if you could pop up that A4 for me. One of the interesting things also coming out of this Frank James thing, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get off of it. This tweet from the New York Post, yes, and the headline reads, Socialists slam bloated NYPD presence in subways as ineffective against crime. And what they immediately began referencing was a statement put out by the New York City DSA, right? Okay, whatever. Okay, DSA, cool. But let's not frame this as just socialists have a problem with the bloated NYPD budget. And anyone, I suppose, who has a critique of the police are automatically rendered socialists, which I find, interesting. An interesting sort of characterization. Trust me, there are lots of people who are registered Democrats, possibly even some registered Republicans who have an issue with the amount of money being spent on law enforcement, period. I think the issue with law enforcement spending, even if it's in the minority of people who maybe are affiliated with the Democratic or Republican parties, it's there. It's there. And I don't think that it just needs to be socialist, but socialists obviously are part of the equation, part of that pie. But it's just funny how the mainstream media, we're in the midst right now of a red smear / red scare era with the conflict with Russia and people like some of our good friends who have had their platforms removed because they dare to criticize the United States involvement in this issue in Ukraine. And anyone that is taking a different stance for anti-police, anti-imperialism, anti-war, you're a socialist automatically. So I just wanted that. I just thought that is something of note. I think that is something that we should continue to notice, the way that the media will characterize people who oppose the status quo, who oppose the things that the way they are, especially the high level of spending that we do on policing and this reinforcement that police are the ones that keep us safe, that because crime is spiking. We need more police to keep crime down. Come here, Bags. Hold on. I think I have a special co-host. Come here, Bagheera. Come here. Come see Mama. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby. Baby, come. Baby. Okay. Never mind. And then she automatically refused. Okay, sorry. I gotta get myself back up. But then leave me alone. Do you want to host or not? Okay, she don't want to host, fine. That's her business. Anyway, so I like to move along here on the show, guys, because there's a very serious story out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out to our homeboy, Jonathan Guerrero. Jonathan dropped Patrick Lyoya's name in my IG Live, and I'm like, I should know that name. I know I should know it. And then when I realized why I should know it, my heart broke again and again and again. So as you guys know, April 4th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 26-year-old, this is so sad, 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya, according to his family, was having some car trouble while driving through Grand Rapids and got out of his car to address what was happening with his vehicle. But according to the police, they say that Patrick was pulled over for having his license plate not match his vehicle. Okay. And we have talked about, and it's been well documented, the amount of police murders, characterized as police-involved shootings, that always begin with traffic stops, right? Dante Wright, outside of Minneapolis, he had something hanging from his rearview mirror, and Philando Castile, I believe, was pulled over for a traffic stop. I mean, there's so many black people, Sandra Bland pulled over for a traffic stop. Like, so many black people have ended up dead as a result of being pulled over for something very minor, something that is basically used by the police to get access to you, to engage with you, right? The police probably don't, here's my thing. I guess the baseline is police just assume that if you are black and outside moving around, that you are probably up to no good. You are doing something wrong. So they will facilitate a stop, broken tail light, license plate don't match, something hanging from your rear view mirror, just to engage with you, and then use that as a foray to either search you or search your vehicle in hopes of finding something else. And when black folks either know their rights or haven't done anything wrong, or God forbid, are so fearful of the police, who we all know are murderous, the people who are so fearful of the police, who will actually run and flee from the cops, that somehow is treated as a reason for cops to fear for their life, which I never understood. It's like, well, if a person is running away from you, they are running away from you. So if you, the pursuer, stop running, that person would continue to get farther and farther and farther away from you. So any sort of perceived threat you thought that person was, if you stop chasing them, they demonstrably become less of a threat to you. Yes. And this obsessiveness with American police, and I don't know how this goes other places, guys, but why the fuck the police always got to be chasing somebody to catch him? Like, if Patrick was running away, let's even say he was running away for the reasons that the police say he was running away for, why chase him? You have his car. Chances are there was some sort of identifying information relating to Patrick in this vehicle, right? So even if he ran away, couldn't you go to his house later? Couldn't you catch up with him the next day? There's all kinds of plausible alternatives for police to do that will not result in the bodily harm of another. But because they are slave catchers, because that is the design of the police, they still think the Fugitive Slave Act never got repealed, never went away, right? Fugitive Slave Act, I guess, is still on the books. Because if niggas start running, police are obligated to chase them, regardless of whatever infraction they are accused of committing, which is mind-blowing. So anyway, I want us to take a look, guys, at the coverage of what's been happening in Grand Rapids over the past several days. This clip was actually filmed and published on an independent media website in Michigan called MLive. And this was actually shot by Daniel Schuler, who I think is a student who is working for MLive, but was able to film some of the earlier actions because this happened. Patrick was murdered April the 4th. And by the way, as of Thursday, the police officer has not been named. And let me double check and see if he has been named while we look at this video. And he also has not been interviewed. And police in Michigan who are involved in murders are supposed to be interviewed within 72 hours. And as of Thursday, it had been a week and the officer had not yet been interviewed. So there's that. Oh, now you want to host. Do you want to host now? You want to say what's up real quick? Real quick. Come here. Come here. Come here, Max. Okay. Say hi. Okay. So this is Bagheera. Bagheera said her mama's a stoner. So, you know, shit happens. Say what's up, Bags. Say hey. Hey, hey, hey. She's doing good, everybody, just by the way. But she's in here bothering me. And don't ask me why this dog will sit in my lap like this calmly, but she will. So, hey, Bags, say what's up to everybody. Say what's up, Bags. Okay, Bags is done now. See you, Bags. Okay, guys, so let's take a look really quickly at the video from MLive, and this is going to be video coming out of Grand Rapids, showing some of the actions, but I believe also showing some of the activists and organizers speaking at the like the Grand Rapids Public Commissioner. They're speaking in front of a board, and I apologize, I don't know specifically where they were, but I think that information is in the video, so let's take a look at that.
But at the end of the day, it should not take a black man being executed in our streets in broad daylight for the city commission to notice that something is wrong. We have had people that work for the city tell us that they know that the Grand Rapids Police Department is racist. And what have they done since then? Nothing!
When we march to the commissioners, I want everybody to raise their voices, okay? It can't only be us on the front lines speaking up. Use your First Amendment, okay? Use it. And that's our intention today. We're here to send a message. Today's not my day to die. Today's not my day to die. Today's not my day to die. The world needs to know. The world needs to know. Name the officer. Name the officer. Name the officer. Name the officer. I have a dream. 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 I have a dream.
I'm a Latino, and I come here because I feel so encouraged by my community members to hope that it's not me on the street, that's not my kids, that it's not my kids' kids, that it's not my brother or my sister or my dad or my mom. And that's a horrible thought to have. That I can't even go outside and use my degree for something without worrying about getting pulled over and shot execution style on the ground with my head like this. For what reason? Am I a threat to you? So I choose to educate myself. I choose to educate myself to hope that people like you aren't empowered.
And I don't know how any of y'all can sit here consciously and not be thoroughly disgusted with yourselves. Patrick Lyoya was 26 years old. He was a father to 2 young daughters. He was a sibling. He was a sibling to 5 younger siblings. He was the oldest. He was a friend. He was a friend to many. And people who are sitting here right now, and how can y'all sit here stoically when a man lost his life?
I just want to note that 30 individuals have given y'all more than what you have given us. We've given you our names. Our names. We want to know the name of the killer.
We're about to release one of the most horrific videos, not only the city, the nation will ever see. Ben Crump is not here for no reason. And that doesn't mean all the police are bad in the world, because that always gets edited. It can't get edited today. But you got some bad tomatoes, and the coat of blue makes you protect them. And it has to stop.
It can only stop when the police are abolished. Period, point blank, that's it. You got to think, Patrick Lyoya was an immigrant from the Democratic Republic of Congo, guys. I mean, his father speaking said that he thought that he was bringing his son to a safe place, just for the police to end up executing his son with a bullet in the back of the head. And I have to confess, and if you guys watch BPM, you've already heard me say this, but no, I have not watched the video. I won't watch the video because I am traumatized by Black death, okay? Black death, especially at the hands of the state. Black death, especially at the hands of the state by white folks, right? I mean, that is triggering, that is traumatizing for all Black people, I imagine globally, but especially here in the US. And for the officer to be able to turn off his body camera, y'all, turned it off about a minute before shooting Patrick in the back of the head. The police and the news are reporting that the officer's body camera fell off. Oh, it fell off. Oh, okay. Is that right? Is that common? Does that usually happen? Or is that a convenient excuse that the police can use for reasons why they do not have footage of their actual crimes being committed. Yes, because there's no question that Patrick was murdered. This was an execution. This young man, had he literally been allowed to run away, would never have had any sort of physical entanglement with that officer at all, And what was he even? Why was he even detained? Why was he even being questioned? Because his license plates didn't match? I mean, for one, that's probably bullshit, yes. But let's assume that it is the case. Okay, is that a violent offense? Is that a reason to try to take somebody to jail? Isn't that, and shouldn't that simply be a ticket, a citation? Here's your ticket, sir. Have a nice day. No, but American policing is based upon power. It is based upon degradation. It is based upon the fear of Black people, specifically, most specifically Black men. And these white cops, or even fucking Black cops, any cop in a uniform, really don't matter what color he is, but usually the white, yes, the whites take it there, don't they? Quickly. There's no reformation of this, okay? If people whom I remember at the time that Freddie Gray was murdered, which I believe was 7 years this week, by the way, when Freddie Gray was murdered in Baltimore City, the demands were police reform and police accountability. Well, if we can get every cop with a body camera, that way they won't be able to lie. That way the camera will tell the truth. That way there won't be any opaqueness about policing and the shit that they do. Well, the police have complete control over this so-called reform. They can take the camera off. They can turn the camera off. They can turn the camera on and off at will. Okay. And that to me is not accountability. That just tells me that the cops are not interested in you and I knowing what the fuck that they actually do and say when the camera's not rolling. So that doesn't address the problem at all. But the only political solutions being presented is that we need better training of the cops. Well, if we just give them more money, then they can get trained better. But nigga, who the fuck is training them now? Derek Chauvin? Right. You understand? That fucking bitch who shot Dante right in the head, a trainer. Derek Chauvin, a trainer. Who the fuck is training these cops now? Murderous fucking other cops. Defund the police, abolish the police, get the hell rid of this goddamn system, y'all, because they try to kill us all one at a time. And if they can't shoot us all one by one, well, COVID. They'll just give us COVID, and COVID will take care of at least a million undesirables, right? A mix of working class and poor Black and brown folks with some unfortunate white people thrown in there as well. We'll just get rid of the sick, the disabled, the Blacks, the Latinos. We'll just do away with them. COVID is perfect for that. Perfect for that. Anyway, we're going to keep watching this. And you heard the gentleman at the very end of the clip say, Ben Crump's not here for no reason. And, I was talking to my mom today, and she was asking me, she's like, well, why is it that, what is your issue with Ben Crump? And I said, well, I can't say that I have an issue per se with Ben Crump. I just hate the line of work that he's in. Yes, because when we mention Ben Crump, it's not the same as saying, oh, Johnnie Cochran's coming to town, right? Because John Cochran coming to town. John Cochran is coming to town to handle business, you dig? Like John Cochran is coming to town and the police are going to be afraid, okay? Ben Crump comes to town, we know that a meeting with the city manager is forthcoming to negotiate a settlement, yes. And settlements, while they are something, and something I suppose is better than nothing, it does nothing to address the issue. It is a Band-Aid. It is an individualization of a very broad, wide systemic issue, okay? And the fact that we as taxpayers pay all of these police settlements, that police themselves as individuals and even as departments do not pay for these settlements, is a huge part of that problem. And again, getting back to Ben Crump, it's just a very macabre business. And I I met the gentleman once. He seemed like a nice enough fellow, so I don't want to attack him personally, but it's just very unsavory. Let me just put it that way. It's very unsavory. It's unsavory to profit off of Black death in any sort of form or fashion. Yeah. And the profits are apparently very good. You guys, if you do a sort of loose calculation of, let's say, a 30% lawyer's fee, we talked about this on BPM this week. You do a loose calculation, let's say 30% of a fee of a settlement given to a family from a police department, city, or state. Y'all, Ben Crump is sitting on a pile of money, kids. Ben Crump is sitting on a pile of money. And I am not familiar with his philanthropic works, if he has any. I don't know what Ben Crump is doing in the community, but I know Ben Crump shows up. Right? What you say, Talisha? She said, I'll attack him. Hey, yeah, man. You know, I try to be nice to folks sometimes. So yeah, don't hold me too hostage for that. Thank you so much, Latif, for being here. Money corrupts. Alicia, you already know. You already know. What you say, Ursula? Ursula said, I think Ben Crump knows what's up. Oh, wait, don't go away, comment. Come back. He does know what's up, Ursula. Ursula said, I think Ben Crump knows what's up. That's the only recompense for the family may have at this point. And I think that's a very valid point, yeah, because even if so-called justice isn't coming, which in most cases it does not come, most police officers are never charged with police-involved shootings, aka police murders or executions of innocent people in the street. They're never charged. Usually, I mean, even if they do lose their jobs, it usually does not preclude them from seeking employment at another police department, which a lot of police murderers have been rehired other places. It's stunning, especially anyway. We can go down the line, y'all. There's so many Black people that have been murdered out here, and it's horrible. And my deepest and heartfelt sympathies and condolences goes out to Patrick's family. I can't even imagine what they're going through, but we will keep an eye on the story. Let's hope that his murderer is named and hopefully charged. But I don't want us to be too upset, or rather, no, we should be upset if he's not charged. I just don't want us to be surprised if he is not charged, okay? Quick break, really quick. We're about to head into the last and final leg of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, but do me a favor. If you have not already hit the like button, can you hit the like button, please? Can you hit the subscribe button, please? These are things that we really appreciated. I am on at BIDWKB. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I changed the TikTok. It is at BIDWKB now on TikTok. And follow us also on Twitter at Burn It Down KB. And we have something else. Oh, at BIDWKB on Patreon. Spotify. Yes. And then it's patreon.com/BIDWKB. By the way, gang, I'm going to update the Spotify playlist this weekend, because I've been working on a couple of playlists. I'm doing a samples playlist, by the way, in no particular order. And I'm probably going to end up doing several playlists of samples, because I'm a big, I love sampling game. I love to hear older records make appearances in recent records, or, somewhat recent records. So I'm going to make a playlist dipping into samples and the songs that sampled the original joints. So Spotify at BIDWKB. Be looking out for that this weekend. Also, gang, don't forget, starting next week, new time for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. 7 p.m. Eastern is our official new start time, starting on Tuesday. So make a note of it. Don't be looking for us at 5 o'clock and then y'all be tweeting me, Kim, where's the show? As I'm telling you, it's going to be on 7 p.m. Eastern, starting on Tuesday, every Tuesday and Friday at 7 o'clock. So make a note of that. And lastly, gang, we are on a planet that is having a lot of problems. Sometimes when I'm crying out to God, and I'm asking God, why, Jesus, why did you deposit me here right now? And I get mad at Earth. I say, I don't want to be on this dumb planet. But then I have to reframe that. Earth is not the problem. Earth has been earthing for billions of years, uninterrupted, unmolested, right? unbothered, except by, you know, comments and shit. But generally, the organisms inhabiting planet Earth have basically been largely unproblematic to the planet until capitalism. Yes. And there is a viral tweet and I'm paraphrasing it. It said, Earth has been around for 5 billion years, and then Europeans got in control for 500 years and fucked it all up. Fucked it all up in 500 years. Oh my gosh. Unreal. Unreal, Europe. Well done. I mean, well done. I mean, destroy a whole planet all by itself. Europe. Oh, wow. That's destruction on a level. Disregard for the planet and the people of the planet and the plants of the planet and the animals of the planet. Europe. Only you, baby. Only you can do it that way. So this past week, there have been a number of climate actions because there are some recent reports out indicate that it's later than you think in the climate catastrophe timeline, gang. We could see, I mean, not to say that we have not already seen and are currently seeing, but if whatever the fuck you think is happening weather-wise on planet Earth, if you think that shit is bad now, that shit's about to get, as my grandma would say, worser. Okay? That shit finna get worser. Stronger tornadoes, stronger hurricanes. Did you guys see, this was like 2 weeks ago. I saw it and I thought for 2 seconds about talking about it on the show, and I quickly decided against it because it was too fucking depressing. But simultaneously, at both the Arctic and Antarctic poles, they were experiencing record temperatures in the 70s at the poles, at the North and South Pole. And we lost a giant ice shelf collapsed in Antarctica. So the sea level is about to get higher. Hello, Manhattan, you ready to be underwater? London, you ready to be underwater? Who else is going to be underwater? DC, yes, DC. Miami, yep, Miami, y'all gonna be underwater first. So scientists have freaked the fuck out and are like literally losing their shit. And I want us to take a look. We're gonna start with C2 first, Tunde. There's a group on Twitter, and to me, they're sort of like More Perfect Union. You know how More Perfect Union does an excellent job of covering labor actions in the US. Well, this, folks, is called Climate Ad Project. And they put together a very good video. And here's what the tweet reads. It says, when scientists around the world are putting their bodies on the line to warn the public about the climate emergency, it's time to pay attention. The media can only ignore it for so long. Share this video and help spread the word. So I am sharing the video and I am helping to spread the word. Look at these global climate scientists getting arrested, willing to go to jail, to bring attention so people will finally look and listen. But not just people, because we are people. We have been paying attention. It's the leaders. It's the fuckers in Congress. It's the people in Parliament. It is the motherfuckers who authorized the Line 3 pipeline, the Enbridge pipeline there in Minnesota. Like, it's these people who make decisions who need to be paying attention. But they're not going to pay attention because Earth collapsing is a poor people problem. That's an us problem. That's not a them problem. But anyway, let's listen to the scientists right here.
We are doing civil disobedience at JP Morgan Chase Bank, which out of all the banks in the world, the one that has done the most to fund fossil fuel projects. This latest IPCC report made it very clear that current and planned fossil fuel infrastructure will take us significantly beyond, 2 times beyond the best estimate of what we can still emit, and have a coin toss chance of staying under 1.5 degrees of global heating.
These banks, these institutions fund everything globally and locally. This is for the Wet'suwet'en in Canada. This is for the Tonga people here.
I'm here because scientists are not being listened to. I'm willing to take a risk for this gorgeous planet. for my sons. And we've been trying to warn you guys for so many decades that we're heading towards a fucking catastrophe. And we've been being ignored. The scientists of the world have been being ignored. And it's gotta stop. We're gonna lose everything. And we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone, that we're willing to take this risk, and more scientists and more people are going to start joining us. This is for all of the kids of the world, all the young people, all of the future people. This is so much bigger than any of us.
And we are tired of being ignored. We've tried being unbiased. We've tried being silent. We have tried the policy game. We have tried celebrities. We have tried everything.
Crying. If the scientists are out here crying, I think that is worthy that, well, and again, I keep saying we, because it ain't no we, because we have been paying attention. I have been burdened with the environment and how the environment is deteriorating since I was a child. I can literally remember losing sleep behind the hole in the ozone layer, gang. Like, I remember being so perplexed and concerned about the future of the planet. And here we are 30 plus years later, and we're in a worser situation, as my grandma would say, worser, yes. Quickly, because I want us to get out of here, but there's a couple of things I want you guys to see. So it's going to be C1 Tunde. So British scientists made an appearance on Good Morning Britain. Ursula, did you see this? Did this make the rounds in the UK, as I'm certain that it did? And the interview was very much compared to that scene in the Netflix film, Don't Look Up, where Leonardo DiCaprio and the other girl, I don't know her name, but they was having an interview with Tyler Perry, who was being a news anchor, and another person, another actress. And it was just an oblivious conversation about the urgency of the comment about the smash into the planet. And it was a very similar sort of exchange happening this week on Good Morning Britain. And I think this was Mehdi Hassan made a spliced up the clips from the movie along with the actual Good Morning Britain interview. It's pretty quick, but it's entertaining and yet tragically entertaining at the same time. Let's take a quick look at that.
Many people would agree that we have to wean ourselves off oil, but at the same time, they deeply resent having their personal lives massively interrupted.
How big is this thing? Could it, like, destroy someone's house? Is that possible?
I don't think any of us want to be disrupting people's lives, but I think given the science and the things that academics are saying about what oil is causing around the world, and in this country too, this is the level of action that needs to be taken.
It's somewhere between 6 and 9 kilometers across, so it's big. It would damage the entire planet, not just a house.
I wonder if any of you have read the latest IPCC reports that have come out this year. Yeah. You know, what they have said is that we are on the road for climate catastrophe.
Well, as it's damaging, will it hit this one house in particular that's right on the coast of New Jersey? It's my ex-wife's house. I need it to be hit.
The clothes that you're wearing, to some extent, owe their existence to oil because they were taken in a car or a truck or a van to a shop, you know?
I'm sorry, are we not being clear?
We're talking about crop failure by 2030. We're talking about people in this country right now in fuel poverty because of the prices of oil. And you're talking about the clothes that I'm wearing.
No. We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Well, and for those who are planning to get away over the Easter holidays, could they expect more disruption, do you think?
There's something we do around here. You know, we just keep the bad news light.
I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. Oh, my goodness. Lucretia Williams, thank you so much for your super chat. Lucretia says that Biden is trying to pump up that space budget, trying to send niggas into space. So fuck the planet. The moon, baby, the moonshot. Talisha Conklin, thank you so much for your generous super chat. Talisha says, yay for the time change. Did you talk about how the Progressive Caucus is screwing Nina Turner? Oh, shit. And backing Chantel Brown. Shit. I might have missed it. I was tardy. You were not tardy, darling. You could never be tardy. Anyways, keep kicking bucket and taking names. Thank you so much, Talisha. You know what, y'all? Fuck it. How about next week? We all gonna talk about some electoral shit. You know I can't stand these niggas. And to your question, Talisha, no, I did not talk about it. I did see it tiny bit in passing. Oh my gosh, Nina, I don't know what's up with Nina this time. I'm not even giving Nina no money this time around, and maybe I should. Maybe I should give Nina some money. Y'all giving Nina some money, or y'all said nah? Anyway, well, drop it in the chat. I'm gonna come back to it. Lastly, a couple of very last things, but really quick. Over the weekend, this past weekend, there was a big climate action happening in West Virginia. Outside of the coal plant, Grant Town Power Plant, I believe is where it was in West Virginia. Reverend Barber from the Poor People's Campaign was there, along with local climate activists in West Virginia. The whole country, the whole world is deeply, deeply polluted. And I think some places may be a little bit more polluted than others. But for Joe Manchin, the actual head of the Democratic Party, right, to be literally earning his fortune, or rather making his fortune off of the destruction of the planet, off the continuing burning of fossil fuels and coal, and to ignore his own constituents when they bring these issues right to his doorstep is pretty telling. Let's take a look at C3, guys. This is going to be from WV Rising, and they had an action, like I said, last weekend. I believe 16 people were actually arrested in this action. So these people went out there and they were very serious, but they were at, I believe, the Grant Town Power Plant. And what WV Rising says, our lives are more precious than Joe Manchin's fossil fuel profits. That's fundamental. That's never going to change. Standing arm in arm and blocking the plant that burns Manchin's coal, we shared this truth with the world. I want you guys to see this. Just take a look.
I am deeply disappointed by our senators' failures to put the needs of West Virginians over the desires of their mega donors. But West Virginians are not surprised by this. Why? Because we have lived in a state that has allowed outside corporations to come in and strip us of our dignity and our resources time and time again.
It's our duty to be outside and hold them accountable to the American people.
That Constitution says you're supposed to promote the general welfare of all people. But instead of establishing justice, he has established injustice. Instead of expanding health care, he has blocked health care. Nearly 50% of this state makes less than a living wage. Instead of passing living wages, he has blocked living wage.
The truth is, he does not care about our futures. He cares about his future as a millionaire and as an oligarch.
He makes $500,000 a year from his coal company.
You should be ashamed to face constituents who are rationing their insulin to keep their lights on.
Shame!
You should be ashamed to face your constituents who have lost their jobs in the coal mines with no alternative in sight.
Shame!
You should be ashamed to face your constituents that only have a dying and a dirty coal plant to sustain their entire community.
Shame!
You should be ashamed because you have blood on your hands.
What's very striking about the fact that the United States still burns coal, the fact that we are still drilling for oil, the fact that we are still running oil pipelines through this country, is that there's really no reason to do so. Renewable energy is at the cheapest that it has ever been. Wind, solar, alternatives to the black snake are out here, and they've been out here, and we have an opportunity now to harness these renewable energies to the point that they make sense for everybody, right? It's not just the person who can afford the electric car, right? I mean, here where I live in the state of Maryland, they are giving all ridiculous kinds of subsidies, even though I do think in part it's a scam and I haven't figured it out yet. But they say you can put solar panels on your house. Somebody will come and put solar panels on your house for free, right? Anyway, but they are making shit more available for renewables to be mainstream, to be mass produced, to be mass consumed. But we as a country, our leaders rather, our elected officials, the people that lobby our elected officials, probably the people who are really in charge of America, they have determined that it is not most profitable for us to change and modify our energy consumption behavior in ways that would be more beneficial for the planet. Because the only thing I can assume is that these people just figure that they're just probably going to make enough money that their subsequent descendants should be okay as the planet collapses, as crop failure, as we experience greater and more powerful natural disasters, as the sea levels rise. I don't know what the fuck the elites think. I don't know where they think they're going to go. As Lucretia said, they must be trying to get to space. And that's the only reason that's the only thing I can think of. Because for the rest of us, for the many billions of us who are going to be feeling the effects of climate change firsthand, especially those of us who live on islands, island nation people are already feeling this. They're telling us that they don't give a fuck whether or not we die, y'all. And that's when I think it's time to choose violence. I think violence has to be a choice and it has to be on the table. And I think whoever is gifted at crafting guillotines needs to get on the job and say we set up GoFundMe's for the guillotine crafters, and we got to start yapping niggas' heads off. I mean, I don't see what the end result is going to be here, because truly there is a handful, probably tens of thousands of people who are literally fucking over billions of us, and at some point we, the billions, we got to be the lames. Like, we are the lames if we are letting the very small minority of people destroy the entire planet for us and for our descendants. Yes. So I think it's time for the billions. It's time for the billions. It's time for the billions. Sorry, we got to start showing up at niggas' houses with the guillotines and being like, what's up? And no acts, no questions. Acts, no questions. Just start yapping heads off. If you got a better solution, I'm ready. I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Drop it in the comments. Guys, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Thank everyone who dropped us some money. Thank you, Lucretia. Thank you, Talisha. Thank you, Laura Estrada. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our wonderful moderators, Courtney, Latif. I didn't see Chuck Diesel. Chuck Diesel might be absent, but thank you, Chuck, anyway. And for our wonderful viewers, Valley Girls, Big Teal, Ursula, Poton is up in here, Anna Hart is in here, Afraid Not. I love you all. Afra, I see you, Afra. Afra's in here, yay. And on behalf of Tunde and Molly, we want to thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. And please don't forget, join us Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, my lovelies. I love you guys so much. We'll see y'all next week. Happy Passover, happy Easter, happy atheist if you don't do none of those things. You guys have a great weekend. See y'all later. Bye-bye.